shield. Because I do the things I should. To my brethren, kind and good. So I'll keep moving on. I won't stop now. I'll keep moving on till I reach the top somehow.
Yes, my Straight Dog family, let us keep moving on. It's 10 after the 8 o'clock hour. A bit tardy due to circumstances beyond my control, for making certain that we get all the technology in line with what you deserve. So it's time for me to say good night, St. Kitts and Nevis, and to the entire Caribbean region, to my Straight Dog family in the Kittitian and Nevisian diaspora, wherever you are on the World Wide Web. I know that many of you have already logged on to zizonline.com. Many of you are on social media, Facebook, YouTube. Remember, Straight Talk with Ian Patches Liburd is also on YouTube. We lost it for some time, but just to remind you, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell everyone that we are back on YouTube as well as Facebook. But some of you are in Africa, some of you are in Asia, some of you are in Europe, and there are a whole lot of you all over North America. So I'm at liberty to say good night. I will say good morning, and I can also say good afternoon, because one of such greetings is applicable to the region in which you now find yourselves. And yes, we are all in the same predicament. And my Straight Dog family, if you're joining me for the first time, just to inform you that Straight Talk is a public service program that facilitates and promotes free expression on all issues of national interest, be they legal, environmental, technological, social, economic, and or political issues. On Straight Talk, you do have a forum to express yourselves freely. Let us, in the process, continue to keep St. Kitts and Nevis as one of the freest countries in the entire world. On this program, we try to raise the level of national consciousness. We try to raise the level of national discourse by alerting our people to their rights, to their responsibilities, and certainly to their obligations. My name is Ian Patches Liburd, and I give Almighty God thanks for blessing me with yet another opportunity to join you in conversation on yet another occasion. I missed you on Thursday because belatedly I learned of the ceremony in Parliament, the 25 most remarkable teens, all of whom I wish to congratulate. And tonight, again, and for those who may be joining me for the first time, Straight Talk is a participative program. By that I mean we include your calls, we include your emails, and we welcome you all. The numbers, if you are so minded to call, are 465-2555. Now, some people may want to contact that number from overseas. Of course, you must use the area code, which is 869-465-2555. Or if you're in the North American region, there's an access via 718-577-2916. And those who like the cloak of anonymity, I call it, we give you access via our email platform, and that email address is ZISTRAIGHTTALK, that ZIZ Straight Talk at gmail.com. And just for some housekeeping matters, as of this edition of Straight Talk, I intend to tweak the structure of our program to include a new 5 to 10 minute component, which I will label cultivating and protecting the discipline of truth. Again, cultivating and protecting the discipline of truth. And this will be in addition to our usual Sunday minor news items prior to the main topic for discussion. And I really want to, really introduce, not tonight though, I don't think I'll have time for that because we started a bit late, but we're going to cultivate, we're going to promote, and we're going to protect the discipline of truth, especially with those who I call the pagans of virtue, who come with all sorts of commentaries on the radio and or social media when they have no moral authority to be even listened to, period. But in terms of our Sunday Minor news, though, I'm happy to report that we are doing extremely well. We are doing very well in terms of our management of the COVID-19 pandemic. And I must, as per usual, as I did before, I should say, commend and congratulate all those on the front line, in particular our health workers, our nurses, our doctors. And we can never forget the two generals, I call them, our Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Hazel Laws, and Medical Chief of Staff, Dr. Cameron Wilkinson. Those in law enforcement, the Commissioner of Police, Cromwell Henry, I forgot his rank, I hope I'm not, the motor news, so Superintendent Henry, Justice or ACP, whatever it is, Cromwell Henry, who's always there updating us on the law and the COVID-19 SROs and so on. And don't forget that our chairman of the NAOC, revered Attorney General Vincent Juicy Byron, the Honorable Vincent Juicy Byron. But I'm happy to report that as of today, the 29th, there were no confirmed cases and only 22 active cases. That's good news. Unfortunately, though, the deaths are 28 too many. But more importantly, though, we have already attained that goal of 80%, in fact, 82.2% as of today, at first doses, I tend to call them, and 73.7% of the targeted population have already received their second dose. And that's good news. That's good news. And we want to commend all those who have been managing the COVID. But we need to prepare, though. We need to prepare because we've heard of that new variant, Omicron, I think it's called, that's has emanated in the South African region, Omicron variant. And it is predicted, I should say, could fuel a global surge that will have, and we hope not, God forbid, will have really some severe consequences. So let's just hope and pray. But the WHO director, Ghebreyesus, I think is his name, did in fact warn us that we may have left COVID, but COVID has not left us.
The emergence of the highly mutated Omicron variant underlines just how perilous and precarious our situation is. We don't yet know whether Omicron is associated with more transmission, more severe disease, more risk of reinfections, or more risk of evading vaccines. Omicron demonstrates just why the world needs a new accord on pandemics. Our current system disincentivizes countries from alerting others to threats that will inevitably land on their shores. Omicron's very emergence is another reminder that although many of us might think we're done with COVID-19, it's not done with us.
Yes, COVID-19 is not done with us, my people. And we have to remain cautious. We have to remain wary. Because just today, I think it was, there are some new travel restrictions which began today, yes, right here in the US, that apply to travelers from South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, and Malawi. And there's travel restrictions, and if you're coming from that area to the US, only US citizens and lawful permanent residents can then come to the United States. That's how serious they have taken this new variant they call the Omicron. And the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa, has more or less called foul. That he said there's no scientific basis to debar people who come from South Africa. Here's what he said.
We call upon these countries that have imposed travel bans on our country and our other Southern African sister countries to immediately and urgently reverse their decisions and lift the bans they have imposed before any further damage is done on our economies and to the livelihoods of our people. There is no scientific justification whatsoever for keeping these restrictions in place.
No scientific justification whatsoever to keep these travel restrictions, as enunciated earlier, in place in these African states. Is it discrimination? But that's how serious governments have taken this new Omicron variant, I should say. And we ourselves, we cannot be complacent. I remember the CMO did in fact warn us, implore us. We need to remind us of this.
Now, what are the factors contributing to these waves? Complacency. So during the period when we were virus-free, there was some complacency with the set of the COVID-19 protective measures. And so, the numbers, started going up.
And some of these non-pharmaceutical measures, I think they're called, wearing our masks, especially in closed environments, sanitizing our hands, keeping our social distancing, they are still important today. So please, although I am promoting, having reached 80%, I strongly promote that we lift this quarantine. I'm coming home. I'm coming home this week, and I just hope and pray I don't have to go in medical jail, I call it. But that's the Sunday Minor news and matters I want to address tonight. But in terms of our main topic, I want to discuss what I call the leadership quagmire in the Labour Party. But before I do that, though, I must as well, before to the many parts of the world, and more so here in North America. Last week was a special week for giving thanks. Always give thanks unto Almighty God for all things, and in particular for the many blessings. And God continues to bestow upon us in our daily living. I take the time, therefore, to wish you and your family a beautiful and blessed remainder of this week in this season of giving thanks to Almighty God. Yesterday started the season of Advent, and I trust that we started on a positive path as we prepare for the coming of Christ, the incarnate Son of God. God continues to bless us all with opportunities to live, to work, and or even just to survive in these difficult times, especially in the face of this COVID-19 pandemic that has wreaked so much havoc and caused so many hardships all over the world. At times, the task we have seen overwhelming and exhausting. But thank God for giving us in St. Kitts and Nevis a selfless leader who recognized that he is assigned to do his will, God's will. Thank God for a leader who stood up in our parliament in 2014 to challenge the wrongdoings of a government that had lost its way. And our leader back then made a commitment to all of us in St. Kitts and beyond. He was selfless when he stood in the parliament and said this:
somebody must be brave enough to speak that basic truth and say, as one brave person said, if I perish in speaking truth to power, I perish. I perish, man. But truth must be spoken. Truth must be spoken. And that is what we are attempting to do, Mr. Speaker. That is what it is, Mr. Speaker.
Truth must be spoken. And today, my friend and Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris, celebrates 28 years in the political vineyard in our federation. His works can be seen. The transformation within his constituency, number 7, and indeed throughout the country, is the living testimony of his love for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I wish my friend and Prime Minister many, many more years of success in the political arena, and I encourage him to fear not what some may say or do, because when the right time comes, the majority of the people will decide. For now, I posit this prayer to my friend and Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Sylvester Harris, as he celebrates 28 years as a parliamentarian, having been first elected to Parliament on the 29th of November 1993. He has endured through good times and bad times, so we all can pray. O Lord, your word declares that you are our good shepherd. We pray, Lord, that you will continue to provide guidance for our leader and Prime Minister, just as shepherds provide guidance for their sheep. I pray that you will continue to help him to be more like you. I pray, Lord, that as leader of our federation, He will continue to give careful attention to those whom he leads, and that the relationship between every man, woman, boy, and girl that he leads will flourish. I pray that it will grow, prosper, and develop into a stronger, safer St. Kitts and Nevis. Lord, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, this is the prayer of my heart. Amen. And after such divine intervention, my straight dog family, and having recognized the sterling stewardship of our Prime Minister, ironically, yesterday, the opposition St. Kitts Nevis Labour Party that fired Timothy Harris. You know, they said the stone that the builder refused has become the head cornerstone. That's true. But that party convened what was dubbed as its leadership or electoral conference, something that I deliberately chose not to speak about much on this program. Sometime earlier, however, I briefly made mention of what I called then the quagmire in the leadership of this 90-year-old party. Now, what is the quagmire in the leadership of the party? You may ask. I respond, the quagmire is caused by the lack of respect according to his current, or his then leader, I should say, of over 30 of those 90 years. No leader was ever challenged in a contest for leadership in 90 years, he asserted. And it won't start with him, said a defiant Douglas.
What is disrespectful to me is that people want me to go and contest with them. I am not contesting with anyone. It has never happened in our party before. For the 90 years of the party, no leader has been challenged in that way, and it is not going to start with me. I prefer if people can say that they would want me to support in that way for the extra 6 months, then I prefer not to be there.
Well, it happened. And recall that the godfather of Douglas and our first national hero, Robert Bradshaw, died in office in 1970. May his soul rest in peace. But his leadership of the party, it is true, it was never challenged for all those years. This was not so for Paul Southwell, his successor, who also died in office in 1979. Because remember, Liburd challenged Southwell, and it was the start of things to come in the Labour Party. I recall as a young boy looking at the then Premier Southwell bring tears to his eyes on national television. But 20 years after Douglas, he challenged Liburd and wrestled the leadership of the party from Liburd. And many comrades asked this question.
Fitzroy Bryant told me, and not just me, a number of persons are there, that this guy here, that guy there, called Denzel, he's going to be the downfall of the labor movement. Fitzroy Bryant. St. John Payne, who we all know they treated like a dog when he got sick, says, what a mistake we made in bringing this guy here to this movement. He's going to be the end of the organization. Liburd. I mean, Liburd was like, who is this guy that we brought into this organization?
That was the question. Who is this guy? But 32 years after Douglas, or I should say 32 years after, Douglas is challenged by a young man called Dr. Jew, sparking bickering, infighting, and division amongst the rank and file of the party. To many in the rank and file of this party, nonetheless, the quagmire was caused by the failed leadership of Denzel Douglas. I feel sorry for my friend Denzel. But when this loudmouth supporter can denigrate Douglas, and as short as he is, when this loudmouth supporter can publicly belittle him, then I would give advice to my friend Denzel, as I did in the past. The time has come for you, Denzel, to move on. Don't let these loudmouth little people denigrate your leadership.
We need to go forward. And the way forward is you, Jeffrey, or Congress, whoever be the new leader, because we need a new leader.
Yes, and they do have a new leader. This loudmouth supporter from the rank and file of the party did not mince his words about the quagmire going on in this 90-year-old party of Branches Southern and France. He did not. He went on and on.
Why are we fighting against each other? What is the problem? This is not what Labour all about. This is not what Branch are all about. It hurt me hard to see what is going on in the Labour Party.
You may ask, what is going on? Well, what went on is perhaps the more appropriate question. But these are some of the issues at the heart of the quagmire. But the one who Douglas first anointed, recognized the challenging situation, but he will have a daunting task to keep the party together. But there's another issue that we must examine closely, and that is the quality of the leadership that will replace Denzel Douglas. And this must be given serious consideration by the entire country. It must be given serious consideration because political parties in opposition are themselves the alternative government that can replace the party in office if, in the opinion of the people, it has failed. In this case, if Team Unity fails to achieve its goals or to execute its programs. The opposition is sometimes called the alternative government, as I said, because it could form government if it was to win the support of the majority of the elected members of the parliament. And the work of the opposition is as important as the party in office, because the opposition does not only act as a check on the party in office, but helps the party to understand the working of its programs, the feelings of the masses, and the alternative option available. Some other time, we will examine the quality of the leadership in the opposition in totality. Suffice to say, though, Jeffrey Hanley, many refer to him as Dr. Jeffrey Hanley, but there is no credible evidence that Jeffrey matriculated from or was registered at a reputable university with an acceptable level of accreditation, and which states the years he undertook his PhD and whether he was involved in full-time study in which, as a student, he completed a substantial piece of original research that he presented as a thesis or dissertation, and what was the title of his dissertation or thesis. Jeffrey must tell us that. Jeffrey must also tell the country what is the name of his alma mater, as we say, or the university from which he graduated, and the year he did graduate with a PhD. Until Jeffrey provides that information, then the nation must conclude that he bought his PhD online, and as such, he must stop parading falsely as Dr. Jeffrey Hanley. But fraud is nothing new to Jeffrey. Some other time we will deal with that. But everyone and anyone has a right to question his quote-unquote academic achievement. And some people do. Many people do. And they do have that right to question his quote-unquote PhD.
Mr. Hanley, Jeffrey Hanley. You understand? I want to know where them they get both they doctor, where they get doctor with that. But is realize it now, you know. People who come into politics now, they carry the name of doctor.
And you have to question that. You must question when you listen to that guy. Where on earth he got, as you said, this doctorate from? Where he got it from? He must tell us. He must tell us, my straight dog family. And you know, perhaps, just perhaps, that is why the delegates yesterday gave Jeffrey Hanley what I call a good political slap in his face with a paltry 16% of the vote. Congress would not have taken any academic shortcuts. I believe I can vouch for that. Congress would not have taken any academic shortcuts like Jeffrey, but his legacy in Calypso is tainted. Truth be told though, Congress has a great Calypso voice, much better than his father contender. Whereas his father failed to win a Calypso crown, Congress will boast that he won 4 crowns. But truth be told, one of the 4 crowns belongs to Queen Anastasia, and the other surely belongs to Singing Jackie. Congress also has a dubious distinction of losing in the 2020 elections the safe seat in West Bastille, which Labour held since adult suffrage in the 1950s, 52 or 54, whatever the date is. But could you imagine Congress as national leader of the party and shadow Prime Minister of St. Kitts Nevis? Well, for sure, his father contender of speed tech fame would become Governor General, and Jean Conda, after all her rehearsals, will now have to discard all those broad hats she bought, thinking that Sam would become Governor General and she would become the First Lady. Poor Sam. He went back home to Labour, and poor Eugenie. Damn if they do, damn if they don't. But the name Congress is synonymous to contender. Even though his wife is a born Nevian, remember he bounced the NIA check, and many Nevians were left wondering where to turn for $1 to buy food for their family. Kittitians and Nevians must never forget contender, and Congress will try to revive and protect the poor legacy of his father. And we know that, my straight dog family. And sometimes Tiger Flowers gets it right.
For the last 18 years, contender has been chairman of at least 2 boards every time. And his pay, he getting almost $1 million. $4,000 a month for the last 18 years. That is quite a contender again.
But he's still going back. He's still going back. He may say those things. This is what I talk about, immorality. Douglas supported Congress as leader since he believed that doing so will sustain his grip and power in St. Kitts and Nevis. He also seemed to split his support with Jeffrey to be a spoiler of yesterday's election.
Since Dr. Drew wants to contest, I think he should contest with the other two who are interested in contesting, and that is why I recommend you consider somebody like Congress.
Yes, he supported Congress because he wanted to sustain his hold on to power. The rank and file saw this and thus gave Congress a meager 37% of the vote. Jeffrey 16, Congress 37%. Dr. Terence Drew. He may just be the better of all the other evils. His light shines bright in the darkness caused by Douglas. He replaced Cedric Martin Liburd after the latter lost in the 2010 elections. And I don't know the origin of the phrase, 3 strikes and you're out. But I gather it had long been a baseball term. And I read that the earliest citation of the phrase in print was found in the Ohio newspaper, the Zanesville Signal, back in 1940. In an advertisement for Dutro's Motors, but it is well known that 3 strikes and you're out is a baseball term. There is, however, a standard application when it comes to leadership in politics, especially here in St. Kitts and Nevis, whereby 2 strikes and you are out. With the lately Moore, as the Labour Party leader, lost to Constance Mitchum in 1984 and again in the 1989 elections, he had 2 strikes and he was out and had to surrender the party leadership, ironically, to Denzel Douglas. So too, when Lindsey Graham lost to Rupert Herbert in the 2004 and to Glenn Ghost Phillip in the 2010 elections, he had 2 strikes and he was out and was replaced as leader prior to the 2015 elections. He was replaced as leader of the People's Action Movement. After 2 successive defeats at the polls in 2015 and 2020, the rank and file of the Labour Party said Douglas must go, and yesterday voted in a new leader, Dr. Terence Drew. Ironically, Dr. Drew had 2 strikes, but instead of being out, he's in with 44% of the vote, which means he has more votes against than in favor of him. One of the questions being asked is whether Dr. Drew, with more favorable votes against him rather than for him, is the mandate any real leader should have. But this is answered quite aptly by this Labour supporter.
See, I got a version, and everybody is lamenting as to who should be and why they should be. This is my version. You come on my team as a striker, strike. You cannot decide that you are fit enough to be the captain without proving yourself and defending your position. Dr. Drew does not have the fortitude to motivate 8 men to win the government if he cannot win 1. There is a word, psychosis, outer reality. If we don't want Dougie, who proved himself for 20 years and still is a winner, What is wrong with us that we are going to choose a proven loser to now lead us into victory? We are all bipolar. Have a good day.
Psychosis. He said, out of reality. Seeing things differently to those around them. All bipolar. I wonder what substance, if any, did they use? They use alcohol or drugs? Is there a mental health problem? These are some of the questions, my straight out family. But it's 10 before 9 o'clock. I have carried along. And that's my story tonight, my family, and I am not going to change it. I will therefore open the lines and include your calls and your emails. The numbers are 869-465-2555 or 718-577-2916. And for those, like I said, who like the cloak of anonymity, our email platform and address is zizstraighttalk@gmail.com. I must first implore all of you to respect others. And of course, to achieve that, you must first respect yourselves. Let us talk the truth and try to be fair to all concerned. Let us build goodwill and better friendships. Make sure it's beneficial to all concerned. And in saying and or doing those things, let us strive to build a kinder, gentler St. Kitts and Nevis. It's 9 before the 9 o'clock hour. I'll open the lines and take your calls. And I do so right now. I'll take my first call. Caller, you are live.
Good evening, Patrice. How are you this evening, sir?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Good. You kicking, man. You're proud kicking the vision. We love you. We're proud of you. And like I always say, God bless you and Sylvie and Henry. Without you two guys, oh man, think it would have been finished. You're straight up, you're honest, and you just tell the truth. No, this thing about this election thing of labor. Number one, let me get to the panic factory. The panic factory, that hypocrite there, and his lying, married, foreign lapdog, who is set on destroying St. Kitts Nevis. These two people, I'm telling you, you have to stand up to them. They know you. Now, this thing in this election stuff, this guy is Douglas 2.0. This guy, Jew, is Douglas 2.0 that you guys going to be dealing with, okay? Douglas 2.0. The people must say they don't understand. And I didn't know much about, I didn't care about politics. But when Dr. Harris was leaving that mafia party, and he asked them upstairs in Massey's house to let us say a prayer or whatever, you know what they did? They started cursing the man, F prayer, F God, F this. These people, they don't believe in a God. So, practice is a good thing to have you. Let me ask you a quick question. Are you guys going to be decorating the Buckley Memorial in the square, in the circus there? Because the labor mafia did it one time, and they don't believe in a God. And it was really looking nice. So I hope you guys will do that for the Christmas season, okay? But you doing a good, but forget this thing. There's nothing called no labor. They're mafiosi. You see what they did? They were like monkeys, thieving and robbing the people. Robbing and thieving. And that boy that got there, Denzel 2.0, he's worse than Denzel. This boy is worse than Denzel. Let me tell you people. So they must be out of their mind. Anyhow, let me tell you, Patrice. He's just a new godfather for the mafia. That 90-year-old. When you're 90 years old, it's time to move on. They have done nothing for the people of St. Kitts. All they do is rob the people. And I'm one of the victims, okay? I'm asking the people, please, listen to me. Harris is going to make mincemeat out of that boy. Harris is going to make mincemeat out of him. Harris got a big O on him too. Trust me. But anyhow, Passage, you keep doing the best, and I hope you guys make this square look nice for Christmas time. And all the best to you, and God bless you and Sylvie. Harris is going to crush that little boy. Have a good one, Passage.
Have a good one. I haven't heard from Sylvine for a bit, just she's in the state of good health. But thanks for your commendation. Thanks for your kind words. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Good evening, Honorable Patches Liburd. Now, the first, if you allow me to do, I want to congratulate Joe on his so-called win. Okay? Now, I noticed yesterday they left out a stalwart of the Labour Party, which is Edinburgh. And they decide to invite Sam and Doya Askapan because they say they're Mr. Traitors. So they never invite them. But what I want to tell you, that concentrate on what he's doing. Don't concentrate on Dr. Harris, because Dr. Harris could defend himself, and he will continue to defend himself. Don't care what mountain he meets. He'll bring them down to his knees. You know, Dr. Harris is not Joe's problem. Joe's problem is Dr. Douglas and the Maynard and all of them who going to put him to a straw. You know, when you cut them wood and they push them through the machine and they straight out, it's when they're done with him, that's how we're going to end up. Because Greater and he was around, and Dougie bring them down. You understand me? And when you're going into election and you see what the man has done to you, you should be playing all the way and just don't concentrate on the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. You understand me? He already made the trials and he do his best. It's 28 years he been in government office, and he Prime Minister for 67 years going now. So he's batting good, you know. Now, Patches, let me explain. Hello? You're saying something, Patches?
No, Rob, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. So, when you watch at it, and you see, they're trying all kind of spot to catch a wheel, but it's not going to work. Unity Party is God put them there. God see Mr. Harris and his colleague and son, including you, and put all you there. But I just hope, if they don't want to hold on, I heard on the radio where a man saying that a member of the same Unity Party saying that Timothy have the right to run all seats. So I hope the Prime Minister keep that option open. You understand me? And come after with his team and show them what he could do. And God bless him, and God bless the nation of St. Kitts and Nevis. I'll bring back Patches with the blown out straw.
Thank you very much, caller. Whatever that means. But let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live.
Hello? Hello?
You're live, sir.
Yes. Patches.
So.
Greeting. Yeah, this is Ross Kalonji.
This is my brother.
You can hear
How
me?
are you, Kalonji? Yes,
Yes.
I hear you loud and clear.
Okay. It's very interesting to your discourse tonight. But like I said, I called for political ceasefire already. Are the parties, whether in opposition or those in government, are willing to call a political ceasefire to deal with the issues that are affecting our people, African people? We need an African-centered policy. We can't continue this colonial bickering amongst ourselves. This Westminster-style politics is outdated in this dispensation in terms of the pandemic that is upon us. These things are outdated, my brother. We got to get realistic and deal with what is affecting us. Either we want to be free people or we want to stand the plantation. That is the question before us. We got done with this thing. African people need to take their destiny into their hands. Whether you want to be liberated people or you want to remain on the plantation. This foolishness got to stop, man. We need a political ceasefire. We have to deal with the issues that are affecting our people. This pandemic is purposefully planned to take out African people and poor people in general. We got to get real here, my brother. All I'm saying to our people, you understand, we have to deal with the issue of African liberation. That is what is before us. All this nonsense with show water in the past, who do good from who do bad. We have to move forward as a people. We can't continue this bickering, man. If we want to be truthful to ourselves, all what we have been through for the last 400 years, going on 600 years, we cannot continue this way. African, you said something.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Rash Kalunji. But that is academic. That's what? But how?
That's not academic. That is the reality. We have to face reality. The question before African people is African liberation. Globally, this is a global pandemic. Either you want, I'm saying to our people, you understand what Granny said? African liberation is the only solution to the pollution. There's no other way. We got to come together as a people. Done with all the foolishness. This is serious times. Yes, these people got nuclear weapons. They ain't even using them. They're using the pandemic. Bring the Dr. Fauci and the United States government. They should bring this COVID-19 upon us. We have the emails. We have all the information to substantiate what we are saying. We got to get real, man. This foolishness got to stop. Call for political ceasefire and deal with the issues that are affecting our people. You want to say something?
Well, I'm still trying to get right. I'm trying to be realistic. Get rid of done the political cease or have a political ceasefire, as you said. But
the political ceasefire, right? Now, like I said, we agree that what happened in the past, whether it was good or bad, on either side or any side, you understand? We accept that. All I'm saying to you, we got to deal with the issues that are affecting our people. Good health care, good jobs. You know what I'm saying? A good standard of living. Not only in the Federation, but everywhere we are. Everywhere African people is the same problem affecting us. And that is the reality of the situation. Look at the 50 million black people in the United States. You never hear no politician in CARICOM talk about political prisoners in the United States. And there's so much black brothers locked up for their political beliefs. We got to get real with our situation. It's 1.3 billion people in Africa, plus 200 million of us in the West. We're the majority in the world. We have to deal with the issues that are affecting our people. That is the situation, my brother.
I got you. I support you. But I want to also say that a real respected religious leader in Africa, Bishop Tutu, in addition to what you said, he also said, we have to open the wounds, clean them, lest they will fester. Let's go back to the lines. Call you live. Let's call. Are you there, caller? Yes, we want African liberation. Yes, we Africans as well got to come together. Call you live.
Yes, good evening, Nancy.
How are you, namesake?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good here listening to you, man. You're bowling some good ball, man. And I just want to say congratulations to my Prime Minister for 28 years being a parliamentarian and now being the Prime Minister of this country. He's doing a remarkable job. And anyone could dispute that? Trust me, they live in somewhere else. They can't be living in St. Kitts and Nevis. Because my Prime Minister is doing so good that our country still stands. From the time he was being the leader of this country, we've been spending our tax dollars and we don't have to run to the IMF to borrow, beg and borrow. So we are saying that we have a man who knows to spend our tax dollar, so therefore we got a good captain, so therefore we need the captain to remain. In spite of what people may say, Dr. Harris is the best ever that come and take charge in this country and run the ship of state proper. And because the ship of state is staying floating, we can see the fruits of unity, PAM, Labour, and also CCM and NRP. And I just want to say to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, let's unionize, be wise, and make sure that next election, unity go back to the poll. Because we have nothing better, nothing else will come after this party that run our country and spend our tax dollar in a wise and proper fashion. We can't afford to have drunken sailor come on board again and mess up our country after having had so much money from the CBI. 1.5 billion US dollars from our citizenship by investment. And then you're going to tell me, take us to the IMF after 2010, take us to the IMF in 2011, go back a begging. Something got to be wrong. So we need to know where all this money went in a short space of time. From 2010 to 2011, we have 1.5 billion US dollars by our citizenship by investment, and then all of a sudden, everything just vanished. And one more thing I want to say before I go, Patches, is that which we prefer, because somebody was on the radio saying, the man that always go on the panic factory and say, oh, our passport and our citizenship by investment dropped because we got down to 50% or whatever amount of percent to get to do citizenship by investment. But don't you think this is better than when you go and take the identification out of our passport and then we have so many millions of passports had to go to waste because of negligence or bad character. God bless you. Have a good night.
Have a good night, my dear brother. And it's hard to contest, hard not to see, according to you, the transformation that has come under the leadership of Timothy Harris. Caller, your life.
Straight up. Mr. Straight
How
up.
are you?
How are you?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
What can I say, man? So far, so good. All is well. Today is another birthday for me. Mr. Stratak, I just want to thank God for you because you are doing a wonderful job, which I always tell you, keep doing what you're doing. Last week, I received a call from all the way, and they're giving me your number, and I don't know what happened. So you got to give me your number because I want to give you your biggest surprise of your life in New York City. So going down, how are you doing otherwise?
I am peaceful, man. Yourself?
Well, man, I'm doing very well. God is good, like I always tell you. You just got to do what you got to do. Don't take on people. Just do what you got to do. Understand? We are always coming out there. We want brothers to get together, African people. Man, do what you got to do. If you want to do what you have to do, don't worry about who not do. But they want everybody to work as African people. No! I always see them coming and talking about black brother and black sister. So what happened to the white brother and sister? You know what happened to the white man that congratulate me? So what I have to do? Tell him I don't want it? But that's another politics. So Mr. Find somewhere. I need your number.
I'll get it back to you.
Okay. Be good and I'll see you when I see you. Take care. Be blessed.
See you. Be blessed, man. Be good. See you when I see you. I'll get that number back to you. Looking forward to seeing you. Caller, you're
Hello,
live.
Patches? Patches?
Yes, you're live, sir.
This is the Major.
How is the Major?
Well, thanking God for life. Now, Patches, I want to tell you something. Listen me, mind. I'm going to take my time. I want to deal with something they call effective communication. I must tell you, I did a course in that some years ago, and listening to certain people here tonight, I said I should talk to tell you about it. And here what it said to me. Stay in the present. Unless you are an archaeologist, don't dig up all sorts of relics from the past. Well, you know, to be an archaeologist, we are talking about Asian culture. And it deals with relics, and relics is an object of custom that must survive. Let it deal with the present, you hear? Because going back and so on, we're just reversing. You are my boy. I appreciate you. I like you. But let me don't think that I know you are academia. I as well is an academia, and that is why I choose it as effective communication. Let us say the present. Unless you are an agricultural, not you specifically. When I say you, it's not you I deal with specifically. But you know, once you are an archaeologist, we always try to. That is something to deal with Asian culture, and the relics of object of custom that survive. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Major. Always good to hear from you. Always with your thought-provoking ideas. You know, effective communication, though, means you must, of course, as well, both listen actively and express clearly to those around you. Caller, you're live.
Pleasant good evening, Patches. Marsha here. Good night.
How are you, Marsha? Haven't heard you for some time.
I'm right here.
You there?
Yes, I'm right here.
All is well?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, good to hear you.
Nice. Patches, tonight I just want to, to congratulate my Prime Minister, your Prime Minister, the Prime Minister of the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris, for 28 years of serving the people of St. Kitts and Nevis with distinction, honor. I'm proud to say this tonight. He is the best Prime Minister that I ever know and I will ever know. There is none can touch him. None can walk in his footsteps. At Chase, for the week of activities, he had his walkthrough. And I went to some of them, and I was so amazed to see the people, lining up, by the house just to see him and just to wish him well. Sunday, we had the church service, and it was well attended. After this church service, we had a luncheon, and this man is something else. When I sit there at the luncheon, I say, wow, I don't even have to go home and cook, because, he feed us after church. I didn't, I'm saying this so that he is such a good man. You understand? Under the past government, when I used to go places, only when you're in something you could talk about it. Not even a bottle of water I used to get. And I just want to bring this on the table tonight. That Dr. Timothy Harris is the best thing that ever happened to St. Kitts and Nevis. And long live Dr. Timothy Harris. And I love him from the moon and back. And Patches, I don't want to spend time and for the amount of things he has done from since he's around as the Prime Minister. Look at the old dilapidated station, the police station, St. Paul's and Sandy Point. I'm just naming a few things. How he upgrade the station. And, he has so much of trophy. So many things he has done for the short time he has in as a Prime Minister. So I just want to say this to the whole Federation and to St. Kitts and Nevis and everybody who is hearing my voice out there on the radio land, that we cannot ask for nobody, no other Prime Minister better than Timothy Harris. He is the best. And I don't think that God spare life, years to come, we're not going to get no Prime Minister that can match up like him. No Prime Minister that can walk in his footsteps. And Saturday, when he had the consultation the consultation. Patches the amount of people over there. I want to know if they ain't got no other representative. You have people from all walk, all 8 constituency over there line up to meet him. And that could show that people love him. And people want to put their concern to him because he's a man that stick to his word. And he, just like how people that say God is a covenant-keeping God, Timothy Harris is a covenant-keeping man. Because what he said he will do, he bring it to pass. And he always live up to anybody's expectation. So, Patches, as again, I said, 28 years is a lot. I have my son, Yannick, he's 28 years. And 28 years is a lot of years for anybody to be in politics. And as I said, he have a lot of trophies. Lots of trophies. The biggest trophy I think they had is the $500, what he's giving people. Patrice, when you see the $500, today me see the date, today me look at me camera. Today is the 29th. Patrice time you see the money, I think the money might pay tomorrow because tomorrow is the last of the month and you ain't want to see the bank lines and the money who is paying the $500 the pop is not only PLP people, is not only PAM people, is everybody is getting the money. PLP, PAM, Labour, everybody, CCM, NRP, everybody is getting this $500. So it's across the board. So I want to say that Dr. Timothy Harris is doing a tremendous job, and I also congratulating him for his 28 years of sterling service without fear or favor, because when it comes to help people, he do not watch no face to say use the labor, he's not going to help you. He helping everybody. And I see that because I could prove that. Because I know labor people, I know PAM people, I know everybody. So I know he helps everybody. He's not picking out. He is not picking out like the others. He's helping everybody. And I also want to congratulate him. Patches, if I get back in, I'll get back in. You too. I also want to thank you for this program, because this is the best program out. And this is a program that you bring good things. You talk the truth on this program. And Patrice, I want to congratulate you because you bat heavy tonight. While I hear lying down in my bed, I smile. I say, wow, my cousin batting good tonight. So keep up the good work, Patrice, and you have a blessed night.
Thank you, cuz. Have a blessed night as well.
Somebody must be brave enough to speak that basic truth and say, as one brave person said, if I perish in speaking truth to power, I perish.
Let's go back to the lines. It's 17 past 9 o'clock. We're celebrating with Prime Minister Harris as well at 28 years as a parliamentarian, having been first elected in 1993 on the 29th of November, today. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
It is in the name of our great African ancestors, especially the most honorable Marcus Messiah Garvey and Queen Nzinga. Blessed evening, my beloved African brother. How are you, the family?
I'm peaceful, my dear brother. If I didn't know you, I would have said happy belated Thanksgiving, but I can't say that to my brother.
Brother, you know I don't celebrate European holidays. I give thanks every day to the ancestors, beloved. But that's for another time. My beloved brother, I hear Brother Rascalonzi. Brother, I'm all beloved for unity amongst African peoples globally, beloved. But let me say, I, Brother Nabo, ain't uniting with no traitors in the African race. I want to see people like them persona non grata. I know you're a man of Latin, you know. So that just simply means not welcome. These traitors in the race shouldn't be welcome nowhere in the African communities globally, my beloved brother. Need more unity. That's all this. Our liberation, they're going to speed up and get our reparations and rebuild Africa, rebuild build anywhere on this planet where African people reside, beloved. But we must start with the foundation. Africa, beloved. Because there's where the most problem lies. Look what's going on in Kush, that the Greeks call Ethiopia, beloved. Come on, man, all of that got to stop. All the rape and robbery from the African continent in the diaspora, all of that got to stop. We cannot advance as a people when you have your own people ripping off wheresoever. They are the mismanagers because they're managing anything but the patches. They mismanage all the economies and they're just banking billions and billions of dollars all over this planet and financially poor African people, beloved. It just crumbs. Our ancestors don't fight for them, man. You're not supposed to go in circles. Got to move forward. Strong foundation. Unity amongst our people globally. So we control. Anywhere we are, the majority population, we're supposed to run the economies. And our people must, beloved, must benefit, must be the greatest beneficiaries. Who wants about racist and all kind of thing and let's all get along and everything. Brother, you got to get along with your people first and foremost. You don't hear the Chinese, not to think them there, right? But you don't hear no other race of people that say, let's get along and this and that. No, they think about themselves first. We've been doing that for hundreds of thousands of years. Why? No, we dropping the ball. Some African people, let me say too many African people, because we got to do house cleaning, brother. Unless we ain't clean our house, we cannot unite as African peoples and run this earth again like we did before. And must be done, and I want to see that done before I make my exit, beloved. Make my exit. I want to see young Pan-Africanist sisters and brothers more than in the 40s, 50s, 60s, and 70s. Come on, young sisters and brothers. We need you. We need Pan-African political movements globally for the liberation. There is only one bridge, there's many bridges, and we're going to come from different directions, east, west, north, south, but the central point and the central thing, beloved, the narrative and the mantra is Pan-Africanism or perish, and if we ain't got Pan-Africanism, beloved, that must be our mantra, not just in words, but in practice and a daily basis. We must be Africans at all times. Brother, and I have taken up a lot of time, so someone else wants to speak, so my beloved brother, you take care, keep up the great works, beloved, and I continue to listen. Pan-Africanism our perish. One love, my beloved African brother.
One love, my brother. Imagine having the United States of Africa. Is that possible in our lifetime? Very good question to ask. Have a self-introspection. What's happening on that continent of Africa? Caller, you're live.
Patches Liburd. Greetings, brother.
Greetings, my brother.
You have a very spicy topic tonight. Very good. You always educate the public. Truth must be spoken. Mr. Patches, your prayer to the Prime Minister was very sound and positive. And that was good.
Thank you.
That was very good of you. And the advice from the businessman to Dr. Joe is a very sound advice, because Dr. Timothy Harris who was amongst all of them, as I say, all with a capital A, all of them, and he stand up for his country, and until today, he still stand up for his country. The others, inconsistent, like him, they're standing up for a party. That's the problem they have with Dr. Timothy Harris. They feel he must put a party in front of his country. And that's the maturity they hasn't gotten themselves today, today, until today. Political ceasefire. Mr. Patches, it is true that the concept of democracy is universally accepted. It is, however, no less true to say that there are many types of democracy as there are nations in the world, since the underlying spirit of each type of democracy is imparted to it by the nation that put it into effect, into its own individual, particular way. Mr. Patrick, we have to know what type of democracy we are putting for ourselves. Democracy evolves. And just the same problems Africans have is the same problem we have. And naturally we have to see about our problems. Our problems is development. We see about that each and every day. We have our little nitty-gritties that we strive to overcome. But we got to pursue life in a unified way. Some of the leaders or some politicians or some aspiring politicians does more see party politics. They don't see the unified politics. Even though they see what the people call for 2015 and the people demonstrated again in 2020, that they more prefer to see a unified concept of governing the country, because the atmosphere of the country feels much different than a party political governing the country. You see too much images of the emblem of the party on stage when there's a party governing the country. They seen them kind of thing, a unified governance is happening here. We've been seeing those things. Everybody's striving to make ends meet in whatever ways and forms. Yeah, they're going to always complain from since the Lord put mankind on earth, mankind being always complaining. Remember the Babel Tower. You stood there complaining, they built the Babel Tower. So we must show the Lord. We must go back to party rule? No, it shouldn't be. And with Joe, well, I will say congrats on his step, but in his first appearance in his political arena, I always say he should have challenged the leadership, because all of them, if they see the integrity within themselves, they would have been more mature to challenge the leadership from that source, integrity, because the leadership lost its power to the court decision, and no confident motion, you showed weakness towards that. So there was lots of grounds to challenge it, and it's still. But because their own weakness towards the leadership, they want to put it on the country. But the people move on. If they had respect for the decision of the people in 2015 and 2015, they would have seen a more reasoning from that perspective. But instead of that, they're still banking on the same philosophies, and it's getting them nowhere. Mr. Patches, you continue to be strong, and I think we have a good country. We have a lot to give God thanks for, because He blessed us every day. And we have to continue doing what is truthful in His sight, for we to continue getting the blessings of God. And for we to be truthful, we should show each other that truthfulness. We striving for our own development each and every day. And we have to continue doing that way. Mr. Patrick, you be good, and you stay strong, and you stay healthy.
Thank you very much, my dear brother. Always like to just sit up and absorb your intervention. You're so correct, you know. Some people stand up for the party and not for the country. I can testify to that. You know. And I believe as well that we have to guide democracy at times. We have to get a system of government by the whole population, by the people and for the people, it says. Supreme power must be in the hands of the people. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, thank you for holding. It's 9:30, right to the bottom of the hour. You're live.
Good night, Brother Patches.
Good night. Good night, my brother. How are you?
Just by saying that good night, you know who I am. I am on my journey down. First of all, I must say, if it wasn't for you, the world would have never hear what's going on, updates for going on into our Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. So I must say, the best thing ever happened is you, because of you, and those who are behind you. Moving forward, I must say, congratulations to the challenger of the past leadership of the Labour Party, Dr. Drew. I had the privilege to meet him. In my sight, in my judgment, he seems to be a wonderful gentleman. Now, we cannot look at the past. We have to move forward. We could remember the past, but what are we striving for? Good, better, best. The minister. So, he's trying. But the thing that bothers me to say what they need to say. Remember, the best is so those who think there will never be a better minister than the Prime Minister currently of St. Kitts and Nevis, the best. Yeah. That's and so clarification and correction. We all are fighting over criticizing each other. We got to stop that, and that's BS. Note what is best for the people. The people is government. The people put a person in position to represent them. So they are looking for good. They are looking for the best. Beg your pardon? Okay, I thought you were interjecting. Now, look, Dr. Drew is elected and selected, and we cannot base judgment on the gentleman right now. Okay? We all make mistakes. We all are sinners. But it doesn't mean we cannot fall short of the glory of God. So let Drew get his chance. Let Drew make his mistake, and then you judge him from that. Nothing has been done yet. He's just been elected to be the new leadership. And I got to congratulate him on another grounds. He was the first man ever challenged the leader. And I believe in if the leader is doing more DS, if the leader forward.
Okay. Thank you very much, the caller. We do apologize for the quality in transmission. That particular call, I think I myself lost him. But let's go back to the lines at 26 before 10 o'clock. Call you live.
Good evening, Dr. Patches. I am so glad that my call has been recognized. I was the first to call in and say when I get in. But anyway, happy 28th birthday to our Prime Minister, Dr. Harris. And Dr. Harris, you can go on for another 28 years. You know why? You serve a living Savior, which is Jesus Christ. You're not serving a man like us and calling him Jesus, calling him God. So you will go on. And all those who are accusing Dr. Harris and the unity supporters that we are making war with the opposition, we are not making any war with them. Because I can recall last year in a church over Sadler's, Dr. Harris, after the church service finished, he extended his hand to the leader, the former leader, Dr. Denzel Douglas in the church. And Dr. Douglas turned back and refused to shake Dr. Harris' hand. His lawyer got to James had to tell him, man, stop your stupidness now. And turn on you and see the man trying to greet you and make things good. And Douglas is not man enough and statesman enough to congratulate Dr. Harris. He is the one who carrying on the separation and the warring against each other. Who on the earth? We on the earth got more warring black against black than Africa. Every country going good. Dr. Harris is a God-blessed man. That's why the country able to reach where it reached 80%. They reached there. Look how slow we detect the time. And look where he and his team brought this country here to safety. People don't only attack people on radio. People attack people privately and tell people what is his name and what's his name. That is attack too. That is, you got a man there cussing Dr. Harris every day. And I don't know what the Prime Minister do him. Because ungratefulness, come out the Bible, ungratefulness is worse than witchcraft. Last year, when he wasn't up in England, he and his wife, he wanted to come back down, but they had to go to Dubai. And his wife couldn't go to Dubai because she never had the proper documents to go to there. And that is Tiger Flower. And he called Dr. Harris in England and explained the problem. Dr. Harris tell him, hold on, I'll get back to you. And Dr. Harris did what he had to do with his powers. And he called him and tell him, everything is all right, you can travel now. And he come down and he praised up Dr. Harris. And all of a sudden, so, he just turned and cussing Dr. Harris. But I'm going to tell you why he cussing Dr. Harris. He was never selected, he was never elected, and he was never nominated to be a member of cabinet, never mind parliament. That is one. And the other thing, what he hear from his PCP is bothering him, but he shouldn't let that bother him because everybody has to face death. And the last thing he worked with Dr. Harris for, he wanted to get a diplomatic passport. What has he achieved in the island for he to deserve a diplomatic passport? Who he be, Kim Collins? Well, he can't happen so. So therefore, he ain't get the diplomatic passport, so all of that they point up in him and he start to build Dr. Harris. So he must stop his stupidness, man. Be fair. When he don't read in the Bible telling people what the Bible say, but then he crooked to the Bible. Very much crooked. This country is going good, and we will overcome all the necessary thing what they're saying. All kind of people got all kind of thing to say. He's a good leader, the man is. Dr. Harris never insult nobody and go on board and say he insulted already and he could do it again, let me do it. So they don't point no finger on the man and accuse the man of anything. Patches, I know that time is going and a lot of people want to get in because I want to get in long time, but if you got time, I'll get back one more shot, otherwise I'll wait until Thursday. Shana, good night, and Miss Hanley, good night. One more thing. Sorry. Let me say it quick. One more thing, Patches. Patches, the people of the hospital, they're calling me and they're telling me that a lot of problem up there. the administration got square peg in round hole up there because people are on vacation since June. And every time the vacation done up, and every time the doctor paper up, is a different doctor paper they're carrying in to the administration. They carry in a paper from Dr. A, so that they get doctor time off. When that go up, they carry another paper from Dr. B, all the way so. So some doctor playing the game with them. And that is what you call craftsman behavior. They're collecting government money and they're working for it, and that got to stop. 7 months you out on vacation, on sick leave, and up and down the place. Administration, are you stop, are you stupidness, are you scraping around hole, are you trying to mash up the government, but it ain't gonna happen. Patches, have a good night. Thank you. Again, this time.
Have a good night, my brother. Always straight to the point. This message reads, Patches, this doctor thing is like reading a comic book. Everybody want titles these days, and who not call themselves doctor, call themselves Reverend Doctor. And another bunch want to be called prophetess, apostle, and the like. A real comedy show going on, Patches. What a circus of comedians, reads this email. At 19 before the 10 o'clock hour, we go straight back to the lines. Call your live.
Thank you. Thank God I get in again. Seems like we had a poor quality communication, but I got back in.
Yes.
Going back to the point I was making. First of all, everybody is saying, a lot of people are saying the country is going good. I am a witness of division in the island, right in the church too. But going back to making the country better, first of all, we got to find within ourselves to have peace, and then we have peace with others. Amongst the political party and major two-party frontline, Labour and Unity, and whatever is a combination of unity. And I don't care who vex with me. I don't care, but I'm going to say it. The division is there. The opposition followers do not respect their competitors, vice versa. Okay? And until that part be healed, the country cannot heal. Okay? I'm not looking at the Prime Minister. He's doing his good job. Continue to do your good job. Continue to leave. And when you leave a good legacy so that you can be talked about in years after. But the problem ain't solved. The problem has to be solved amongst the people. We all got to find peace in ourselves before we can find peace with others. Okay? I was a witness of an invitation when the Prime Minister appeared to a ceremony. And in that ceremony, that was before election, the opposition who competed against Dr. Harris, Mr. Leon Natta, they all was at the same church. And I spoke to the church. Guess what? Example of division. That is example of people. Okay? We got to have challenge and we have to have the checks and balance set before us. We cannot have one party ruling. We have to have opposition. Okay? And we got to cut the selfishness out too. So we got to find where we can have peace within ourselves before we can make peace with other opposition of different parties. And for that reason, that is, I hope that you will try to be a leader. You already demonstrated it in your ambassadorship. You are a gentleman, and I see you as the next Prime Minister of St. Kitts after Timothy Harris. So remember, the best is yet to come. And I know you are a sleeping gun, but just wait. Things will happen. I'm putting you out there. I think you should run for Prime Minister when your chance comes. Or else I will. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. You better do, because I need to hang up my boots, put my foot up, and relax and see my country moving forward. We will continue to move forward. Caller, you're live.
Patrick.
How is the Bible man?
You know how long up on the phone, yeah? This here. I've been telling you something, right? As soon as you get the position, and before you do that, he gone after Mr. Harris. And I'm not saying, I'm going to say this, people must understand that a God rules the whole universe, Now, man. So when God will move a man out of his place, it looks like people vex with the creator of the whole universe. And I can say, not care what they do, they cannot move Mr. Harris, He been sent there to look after the poor people. Never in life, from Mr. Bratcher time come down, you never see a second man look after poor people like Mr. Harris. People used to call him Mr. Bratcher, Papa Bratcher. No. When a man is going to put on 85% from electricity, when a man is going to put on 600% from water, when a man is going to take away the increment, civil servant increment, when a man is going to stop public works highly pay, unity come in and unity pay back the people increment, pay back the holiday pay, move the 85%, move the 600 thing, and you can tell me that man, this prime minister is not good, and then this prime minister is paying $500 a month. Which party that used to happen? Mr. Patrick, I can't understand people. I live in Tabernacle. I see how the man go up. The man is a poor. The man come from the poor. And the man's heart is for poor people. There is nobody can be like him to come and go. And in 2025, unity is going to be back in office. Because listen here, Douglas gone and next Douglas come back. All of them are Douglas. God, all of them spitting on one another. So whatever Douglas don't do, he not do no wrong. He not do no wrong. But Mr. Patrick, I am saying tonight that God is a good God. And no weapon that form against Mr. Harris the Prime Minister shall prosper. So they could kick and they could plant. When Mr. Harris goes deeper in God, nobody could stand in front of him. God will tell Jeremiah, they will fight against him, but they will not prevail. So they're going to fight the battle, but they ain't going to feel a God they had to deal with.
Okay.
So take care, Mr. Patrick. All the best. See you.
Same to you. The Bible man, with your little sermonette. As we wind down tonight's program, and we go straight back to the lines. Caller, you're live. Yes, caller.
Yeah, good evening, Honorable Minister.
Good evening, my brother.
How you doing? How you doing, sir?
I am peaceful. Yourself?
Yeah, man, I just see you, as usual, listening to the program, but I had to take time out tonight to call in.
Thank you.
Yes, it's important because I want to congratulate the Prime Minister on celebrating 28 years. The parliamentarian, the Smokey and Nevis Parliament. 28 years is a good set of years and a good experience you have. So, whoever come here, I know he prepared to deal with it. So, at the same time, I want to talk about, to start with one thing, because in everything, in the Bible, it says a time and place and a season for everything, right? And at the same time, a time to love, a time to hate, a time to live, a time to die, a time to do it, a time to do that. And I want Dr. to understand that it's a time for everything. Whatever happens with Timothy and Douglas, them ain't got nothing to do with you. They do not come in as not soccer leader on a mandate where you get less than the absolute majority to come at the confusion and talk like you ain't coming in a sense where you're going to be welcome. Because you're going to be welcome when you come in talking like that there neither. Talking like you're not welcoming Timothy. Well, you're not welcoming Timothy. You cannot welcome Timothy supporters. You cannot welcome PLP supporters. You can't welcome people completely when you're going to come and not come under godly, spiritual, individual concept. You can't come in a war and based on the past and Douglas and issues with Timothy and them kind of situation. That is not. If that's the mandate what you think you get, well, no problem. Because at the same time, you end up, and you still end up with far less than what you wanted. Because you have two leaders, one on paper, you use on paper, and you have a more powerful leader who is off paper. And everybody knows who that is. And on top of that, you have two deputy leaders. Why two? Why the Labour Party have to end up to be like this here? Why? Why do you have to come down to the kind of situation where people cannot, one person can't do the job? Doctors, you could do the job, they need Douglas to disappear. One deputy leader could do the job, he have to be convinced and just be. Why? What kind of situation is that? That never happened before in the history of the Labour Party. These are things made and is implemented right now to just do one thing, to just Dr. Joe fail. If this was implemented back then 10 years ago, Dr. Joe would have been more powerful coming into the position. But he's far weaker because the people that voted against him is more than the people that voted for him. And it's obvious. So it's important that you understand because when you dig in a pit for people and talking about Timothy, you're going to be it. And you're going to do this. The people that vote you in the Labour Party want to do the same thing to you too and destroy you. So you got to understand, you ain't coming on a mandate where you got, where if you were Douglas was running in the election, Douglas would have been almost the 400 and almost 10 votes, or whatever votes. So staff must cast, Douglas would have been all of them, most likely. And if he'll win 200, he win less than 200 out of 410, however. He ain't really got no mandate.
So you can't come in like he's some kind of bully or anything like that, you know, because the people that are around them already, they have checks and balances in place, and committees were established, whether the legacy committee, name it, the finance committee, name it, after the committee. You just make sure you control it. As I say, it's two leaders, two deputy leaders. Parties have a good night. This never happen again. I hope this never happen again, yeah?
Have a good night as well. It's such a good point, you know. He has a mandate from 44% of his executive. So, you know, he's, as you said, is less favorable amongst the majority of the people in the party. So he has a mountain to climb. Let's go back to the lines. Caller, you're live at 5 before 10.
This is the Major.
Yes, Major.
You listening? You listening to me? You hear
Yes,
me, Patrick?
I always listen to you.
Okay.
I'm standing at attention.
Okay, I told you some time ago, you know, that you need a moderator. Give me the job, I can control the thing. But laugh at this one before you shut off. I ask you, this is a question I'm going to ask you as a friend and a comrade and a colleague, everything. Here the question is your life filled with interested hobbies and activities? Smile like that. You hear that? That I ask you? Well, I could remember you as a musician, you put down your musical instruments and you fighting a next thing. So I wanted to know if your life is filled with interested hobbies and activities. Name one to me. Name one to me. Hello?
Talking.
Huh?
Talking, Major.
What you said is?
Talking, Major. Still using my voice.
Because I know that you're a good songman, because you sang a calypso there to me some time ago. That when I think about my mother, right? And if you had to love your mother and you make it abundantly clear, so I want to know if that is still your hobby, or you have other activities.
It's still Major. Are you there, Major?
Other activities? Because music is your hobby, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my part-time.
Yeah, that's a hobby. So I wanted if you,
Right.
that's why I'm asking you, if your life is filled with these hobbies still. Interesting hobbies, eh?
Of course.
Huh?
Of course.
Okay then, thank you.
Thanks a lot, Major. I just may have to sing for my supper. Caller, you're live.
Patches, good evening again.
So,
now, what some
good evening.
people fail to understand in life, mothers, daughters, just don't talk. Fathers step away from the children, don't talk to the children. Mothers step away from the husband, don't talk to the husband. Husbands separate from the wife and don't talk. Since it is a free democracy country, you have the right to back who you want to back, and you got the right to vote for who you want to vote for. So all of them who you hear talking and figure that, well, unity is gone, I would like them to know unity is here to stay. You understand me? God put them there, and God gonna make sure they're there. As element say, man gone, man here. So, if any one of them choose not to vote for unity, we will get other people to vote for unity. And if any one of them in the unity party figure they're going to disgrace and pull down the unity party because they want to use the unity Dr. Harris to go, we got news for them. When they dig in a hole, dig two. When you're burning candles, don't burn one, burn two. Okay? Patches, God bless you. God bless our nation and one federation. Think it's Nevis. And God bless my beloved Prime Minister, that he can remain in office until he decides to walk on. Okay? God bless him. He ain't going nowhere. Thank you very much, Patches, to give me this opportunity to talk for the country and myself and my nation. God bless you, Patches.
God bless you as well. That's King of the people. Let's go back to the lines. Call your line.
Good night to one of our great ambassador out there representing us. Good night. Ian Patches Liburd, good night.
Mr. Politics.
How are you, Patches?
I am peaceful, my brother. Yourself?
Oh, Patches, right now we're going through a little difficult situation with some grudging people in this country want to take my soul away. But Patches, I do not think they're going to get it done. And all because what I do, I'm a hard-working man, and I do what I got to do. Some people want to take my soul away, but with God, I put my trust in God, and then God will put me out of whatever difficulties they want to put me into. Now, Patches, I want to commend the Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris, for his 28 years serving in Parliament. Whether minister, Prime Minister, with Labour, and now with this unity construct as the leader, now we're going for the next five more years, we want to give him credit, Patches. I always said that this was a divine intervention. I believe that Dr. Timothy Harris has placed there for a purpose. Patches, what our country was going through, it wasn't easy under the farmer administration. You know, the farmer administration, the boss day, nobody could have tell him nothing. Nobody could have said nothing to him. We call him, we criticize, he tried everything to keep down the people of this country and uplift some. But Dr. Harris, as the Prime Minister now, he is doing the endeavor best to uplift the people along the way. Look at this COVID situation, Patches. Look at the situation at the whole world. Where the country locking down and can't feed the people. We in a blessed country with a blessed leader and his cabinet doing a wonderful job. And Patches, we cannot be ungrateful. And we cannot turn a blind eye to what we see going on under the man leadership. The man is doing a wonderful job. People got to say what they got to say. But Patches, no tiger flower, no liar button up, no panic station, none of them don't try to destroy Dr. Harris and the legacy and the unity here in the cabinet, because those men are listening, and I believe that when the time comes again for the next election, I believe that the people of this country ain't going to have no other choice to vote for a unity government. I believe that they do well. Patches, up to now, the $500 still a pay. You hear the country, government can't pay salary. Up to now, the pet workers, none of them laugh. The pet workers, them still got a job. And other things the government do under this pandemic to give money to the taxi drivers, to bus drivers, and all those people working in the tourist industry. Government has reached out to them to help them, but some of us are ungrateful, and some of us want everything. And people do not accept that this is a different life and living we got to live now under this COVID situation. People want the big taxi bus still, they want the big this still, they want the big job still, but it cannot happen that way. Because everybody knows the situation out there in the whole world. And we got to boy. We got to boy them out there. Because if tourist boat stop come, Patrick, we dead here, not near to live off. We got to land them, and we know that's how the sugar industry closed where the land them went. Patrick, you have a wonderful, may God bless this Federation of Think It Nevis. God bless our loving Prime Minister and his cabinet. Want them to continue to serve this country for the next 5 years and the next 5 more years to come. Because I believe they're doing a wonderful job. Patrick, good night.
Good night, my brother. I'll take 2 more calls, my 2 final calls for the night, then I wrap. Caller, you are my penultimate call for the night. You are live.
Patches, good night.
You just made it jam down. Good night.
I'm barely making it.
Yes,
Patches,
yes.
we as a country got to lift up greatness and good people when you see. Where else Dr. Harris could pull to them? We see 2 prime ministers come and serve in this country. With distinction, Kennedy Simmons and Tim Harris, what else he could do? Well, I could tell them, he ain't going nowhere, He ain't going nowhere. And if this fails in the government, we will read them out. Like when you're reading out plans, we will read them out. That is, I personally want to congratulate that guy and ask God to guide him and keep him to even give a 2 more term. Even here in the Prime Minister. The man understand the thing and he ain't going nowhere. That is, I got a problem, I went there by Iraq today. You hear me, we're talking about some toilets for him. They bring the toilet in, you know what they do? They put the toilet out the bubble. So the tourists them to there by Iraq, trying to pee. One of them pee up themselves had to go back to the boat because they can't come out the bubble to go in the Pelican Mall. What's really going on with these people? That is I run into Kenneth Samuels, one of the major stakeholders in scuba diving. Sell the country and Lachlan Richards, Michael Powell and them in the early years of the tourism. And can't get to operate. And all kind of just come, all kind of white face operating. When the guy tried to call Miss Brown, she didn't answer her phone. I told that. I hold up there Samuel on Saturday. He tried to get in touch with her, she didn't answer. And the woman got the clout. She didn't answer to deal with Kenneth matter. This is how we tourism go. I mean, you got a minister and the man ain't adding zeros to the main stakeholders them who build the industry. This is the problem with them vagabond people, This is damn no problem with them vagabond people. That is another thing I want to talk about here. Is what you're seeing down in Port Zante right now, man, everybody could get a little piece. Someone the lion's share show. But you know who they be. You know the people on the right are always greedy. And they're always quick to pull out the country and say bad things. But we in a pandemic, the Prime Minister got to pedal back in what's going on in South Africa right now. We're not in England, You heard what's going on, right, Patches? And before you go, you're going to have to address that. You're going to let the country know we're going on for that field. But I want to say that Tim Harris is running the country good. As Goldfinger says, think it's Nevis, man, he running good. Where's we want? These people desperately want something to go bad in the Patches for them to chew on. My good friend, Dr. Joe, you get the position. You start wrong. Don't go down the road with Denzel politics. You can't win our people, so you can't win the young voters them, so we done with them kind of stupid politics. Stop attack Timothy Harris. He ain't nothing done. I listened to you today in an interview and I was so disappointed. If I personally I know carry soon, I go there go saying them stupidness. You gotta look at them things. That is have a good night. And take care, my
Have a
brother.
good night, Jam Down. I gotta see you this week. Okay? I gotta look for Jam Down. I'll be home soon. Caller, I'll make this my final call for the night. Caller, you're live.
Good night. How are you?
Sounds like Alice in Wonderland. I'm happy you got it.
Yes, you have to go back forward to come. You have to go back to come forward, especially if the president is good. Let them make a contribution, not to tell your callers what to do. They're on the panic factory every day abusing the prime minister. Why not call him to tell them nothing? He do.
I lost Alice in Wonderland. If that caller can take 30 seconds, I'll use that call. If you can use 30 seconds, just 30 seconds. Yes, you're live.
Good night, Patil.
Good night.
night.
Good night,
Good
my
night,
dear.
Patil.
Good night. How are you?
How are you? Sean, family, glad to hear your voice.
Good to hear you as well.
Calling from Saddlers.
Paula.
Yes.
Paula
God bless.
from Sandy Point, living in Saddlers.
Sean, family.
Okay. Good
Glad
to hear you.
to hear your voice. Love you. And keep up the good
Love you
work.
more,
And
Paula.
God bless the Prime Minister and the team, okay?
Okay.
God bless.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't take on
God
nothing
bless
and
you.
be safe. Yeah.
Thank you.
But what
Thank
what
you.
they want to do. Yes.
Okay.
God in the midst
Thank
of
you, Paula.
everything. Love you.
Love you more. Tell me, Alva. You give him 30 seconds? Okay. Okay, let's one. Here's one. We're out of time. We gotta run. I know we start a little late, but my time is done and I got to run. Don't you move your dial, nonetheless, because Albert Bradley is in the house and he plays some oldie golden music. He will keep you up all night. When he finds that those music, I don't know. Those vinyl records he still has. How he plays them, I don't know. But he's always on the ball. If John me late, in event you didn't, remember, today was the day of our Prime Minister who celebrated 28 years in the political vineyard in our federation. Timothy Sylvester Harris. His works can be seen and the transformation within his constituency number 7 and indeed throughout the country is living testimony of his love for the people of St. Kitts and Nevis. I wish my friend and Prime Minister many, many more years of success in the political arena, and I encourage him to fear not what some may say or do, because when the right time comes, the majority of the people will decide. For now, I pray for longevity, Prime Minister. And to my brother, politics, who says people want to take his soul away, I can only implore you, trust in God, and he will never let you be ashamed. As we wind down tonight's programming, as I said, we're gonna include a component in every show from here on. We're gonna promote, cultivate, and protect truth, the discipline of truth. And for those of you who are becoming complacent, beware. See what's happening in South Africa, as just intimated by Jamdown. The Omicron variant could fuel a global surge again with this virus and would have severe consequences. COVID-19 is not done with us. You may have done with COVID-19.
Emergence of the highly mutated Omicron variant underlines just how perilous and precarious our situation is.
Our situation is precarious, as you said, and dangerous. In South Africa, there's a travel restriction for 8 or 9 African countries. South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia, Lesotho, Eswatini, Mozambique, and Malawi. But the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa has said that there's no basis, no scientific basis for the actions being taken.
We call upon these countries that have imposed travel bans on our country and our other Southern African sister countries to immediately and urgently reverse their decisions and lift the bans they have imposed before any further damage is done on our economies and to the livelihoods of our people.
Our economies and our livelihoods will be further damaged if we ever get back into complacency.
Also, there's a hesitancy, the vaccine hesitancy. So vaccine hesitancy and a non-adherence to the COVID-19 protective measures.
And those protective measures, in particular non-pharmaceutical measures, your mask, wear your mask, wash your hands, sanitize your hands, keep your distances, protect yourselves. No one will protect you. I'm looking forward for the lifting of the quarantine. I'll be home. I'm coming home. We'll see and more. We'll talk more jam down. Little Jesus, my executive colleagues, Jasmine, Kelly, Delcia, the whole bunch. Sonny Nolan, always a big fan. Even Chumney, Miss Eddie, Miss Brown, I'll say all night calling, all of you. Thus Daniel, always in tune. Chumney, and Chumney, all the Chumneys. But all of you who have listened tonight, first of all, let me thank Almighty God for guiding our conversation tonight. And as always, let me thank you, the many listeners, those of you who called, those who couldn't get in to the lines. I say thank you, all of you on social media. Remember, all of you are the ones who make Straight Talk, and for that, I say a big, big thank you. Thank those in the kitchen, Albert Bradley on the console, John James in the back room, AJ. I don't know if Bevan Wilkins is back. But I look forward to being in studio once I get out of that quarantine. Hope the quarantine will be lifted on Thursday. If so, I'll be live in that studio, God's willing. But be good to yourselves and all whom you meet. And remember, whatever your mind conceive, that you will achieve. But first of all, you must believe. So when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. Thank Him for taking you through the night. And my Straight Talk family, keep moving on. Bye-bye. Until we connect on Thursday for another edition of Straight Talk. Be good to yourself. You know, when you wake in the morning, thank God for the morning light. And keep moving on. Bye-bye.
For the morning light, give Him thanks and praises for taking me safely through the night. the